Sounds good.
And my hair is a mess.
Hi guys, we're using Facebook Live as a mirror to check our appearances before we get started. Um, what are we talking about, Shell?
We're talking about life.
Yeah, we got all kinds of cool things we could talk about. This morning, lots and lots of thoughts, but I think you're going to jump in with talking to...
Well, we were talking about running because we went on a run for my birthday and found
Happy birthday, Shelly!
a colony trail. Thank you. And so Indy was thinking about a whole bunch of different running tips and tidbits that he's run across.
The other reason...
Pun intended.
the other...
that he's run across in his life that he wanted to share with everyone.
That reminds me, what was the thing that you were really quick on the draw with the other day that I thought was so hilarious? Was that appropriate to share?
Something happened that I was excited. Oh, I lost my wedding band. I couldn't find it anywhere, and we were looking for it for a long time, and all of a sudden I looked down and it was right next to me on the couch, and I don't know how I missed it. And I think we went on with the evening for a little while, and then you came into the bedroom because I had gone to bed, and we're like, Shell, did you want to have a little celebration? We found your wedding ring. And I said, what did I say? I already celebrated inside, but you didn't see it because I'm an introvert.
Oh, man. Little personality tidbit for you.
I just do my little happy dance inside.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, if you didn't see it in my last post, it's there. If you relate to an introvert, there's a lot of stuff going inside their hearts, going on inside their heads that you do not know about unless you take the time and unless you ask. And it's fun to just be aware of that. But working back to the topic,
back to tips
which was
for running that you
running.
run across.
Well, tips that I've run across. Yeah, I think the whole point with that though is that like you were like quick on the draw with like verbalizing what was going on inside of you, and
which has nothing to do with the post.
It doesn't.
So back to the main topic.
Right. The other reason running is on my mind is because I've got a bunch of family members doing the Columbus Half Marathon tomorrow.
Yay!
Which we are stoked about, and I'm super excited for them. And hopefully, we'll see if it works out. I'm going to see if I can pop on with Facebook Live with one of my brothers tomorrow, Patrick Yoder. He's got an Instagram account, Always Keep Improving. Puts lots of cool posts and updates there on his own personal fitness journey. And it's a great resource if you're looking for somebody who's continuing to grow and explore the world of fitness. That would be my brother Patrick. And so running was on my mind because they're running the half marathon tomorrow as well. And Shelly, I believe, is going to talk a little bit about if you're somebody who's thinking about running, thinking about taking it up and trying it out, she might have some trying to reconnect. Hey, we reconnected.
Okay.
Go for it, babe.
So I guess I'll start the tips for running.
Or aren't
tips
you?
And tricks for running.
Aren't you talking to people who are just starting or who are thinking about
tips
starting?
And tricks for people who are thinking about running.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess running has been something that I've been thinking about lately on my morning runs, which are a regular part of my life now, but they have not always been that way. I started running in between high school and college. Actually, my life has been I take a lot of extra time to think about things.
Really?
So I took a year off in between high school and college to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and that is when I started running. And I started running because I was an introvert, and I thought that would be the easiest way to get to know people, was to get in shape enough to be able to run on the track and field and cross country team. And the only reason I was brave enough to do that is because my twin sister had been running on the track and field and cross country
Go
team.
Beth.
And
Fearless
she
leader.
had started.
Happy birthday, Beth.
Yeah. She's also my twin, so today is her birthday too. So that was my motivation to start running. And
can I pop in? Like, I can barely control myself because there's so much good personality stuff to talk about here.
yeah, but we're not talking about personalities.
Well, can I
we're
pop in
talking about running.
But it
No.
all ties together.
No.
I'll wait for my turn.
When I first started running, I could literally only run for 5 minutes. And then I would have to walk. But I decided to go for a half hour every day, even if I had to walk 20 minutes of it. And I went at 5 o'clock a.m. because then nobody could see me. And I took the neighbor's dog, so I had company.
Did you want to touch on how that played into your motivation at all?
And so then what I've been thinking is, like, what have been my reasons for running? So I went from there to, like, running competitively in college and actually losing like 30 to 40 pounds and getting to the point where I was competitive and being super competitive to the point where I injured myself. And then thinking out of that, trying to discover why I actually enjoyed running and why I wanted to either keep running or stop running. And I think I run for all kinds of different reasons today, but I think the conclusion that I've come to is that I just enjoy it. And not everybody enjoys it, and I recognize that. I have sisters too, and friends who don't enjoy running, but they enjoy doing other things for exercise, which I think is awesome. Everybody's different, and you've got to find the thing that you love to do to stay in shape if that's something that you want to do. But anyway, that's a little bit about my journey for running. But I would say, in speaking from that, my own journey with running and my reasons for running, but I would say, speaking from that to anyone who is thinking about the possibility of running, number one, don't be afraid to get yourself some equipment that is comfortable. Make sure you have shoes that are good and shorts that are comfortable, that you're not. The worst thing, I think, is running in shorts that feel like they're always riding up and sliding up, and you have that eternal wedgie, and it's not comfortable. So make sure you get yourself some things that you're comfortable running in and you feel confident running in. Also, shirts that are too tight and are always riding up are awful. I would rather wear baggy stuff to run in that's comfortable.
Do you recommend?
I would recommend starting with what you feel like you can do comfortably and deciding how, even if it's only 5 minutes for running, or 3 minutes or 2 minutes or 1 minute, and then you walk for a little while. But give yourself manageable goals and be willing to celebrate yourself too, because it is a process and it does take a lot of hard work. But it's something that I think I've been doing for probably 10 or 12 years now, and it's become a routine for me, and I do it because I enjoy it. So I would say that too, like, do it because you enjoy it, or find something else that you enjoy doing and then do that because you enjoy it. Those are my tips for people who are thinking about running. Don't be afraid to give it a try though, even if you can only do like 1 minute at a time or 5 minutes at a time, because you never know.
Do you recommend getting up at 5 in the morning like you did so nobody can see you?
Only if you're a morning person.
Actually, from a personal trainer perspective, enjoyment actually is a huge part of workouts. You've got your frequency that you're working out, your intensity, the type of exercise you do, and the time that you do, but enjoyment is as much a factor as those others, I'd say, because if you aren't enjoying what you're doing, chances are you're not going to keep doing it for very long. But the thing I wanted to jump in on that I thought was really interesting that you were talking about is some of your motivation for running came out of just who you were as a person and your personality, like looking, is it fair to say, as an introvert for avenues to naturally connect socially with people? That was part of your motivation for jumping on the track team. Is that a fair summary of what you were saying? Yeah.
I think it's also a good fit for running is also a good fit for me, especially the long distance running for me, because I am an introvert, so I enjoy long extended periods of time by myself. And that's a lot of what running is for me now. It's just my quiet time in the mornings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you're an extrovert like myself, you might enjoy running with people more, or you might enjoy running in ways that are a little more stimulating is probably a good word. I shouldn't say I gotta be really careful with my words.
Putting in sprints, or adding sprints,
or I'm gonna bring my preferences to the conversation, because I was gonna say in ways that are more exciting, but running for a long distance. Hey, it's back. That was really good, because see, I was about to say ways that are more exciting, and you're saying that
I said running for long distances all by yourself early in the morning when you can see the stars and the sunrise is exciting.
Yeah. Whereas my version as an extrovert for exciting would be more like mixing it up and doing sprints and different things like that are a little more stimulating. But there's so many good posts that I want to do that talk about the differences between introverts and extroverts and the impact that has, as you can see, on our exercise and those kind of things, as well as relationships.
You strayed away from the tips for running the Andes run across. That might have to be another post.
We can do them
another time.
Let's do them.
Let's
do them
real
quick, and then we got to go. Yep.
Oh,
we've been sitting for a while. This actually works good, because now I have all my clothing back on that I can give tips for. Let's see if we can switch this. Here we go. Hey babe, can you hold this and I'll run over some of my tips.
Andy's tips and tricks for running.
Andy's tips and tricks. It's mostly going to have to do with clothing. I'm thinking of...
You might have to step out into the sun so people can see.
Can people see me now? Can you see me now?
Yeah,
one of my favorite tips and tricks.
Say hi to Ella.
Hey, Belle. You want to get in on the post? I took some cool pictures of her today. One of my favorite tips when it comes to running in cooler weather, you know that eternal debate in your mind, do I wear the shorts or do I wear the tights? You know, do I wear the longer exercise pants or just shorts? This, my friends, is awesome. These are super long socks, and it essentially gives you the same effect of wearing pants.
Except your knees can stay nice and cool.
Except what?
Your knees can stay nice.
There's still a little bit of chilly that happens there with the knees, but if you wear some longer shorts, it's not a whole lot. But here's the cool thing. At least for me, once I get about a mile in, everything gets warm, including my legs. So an easy fix for that is the socks just go down. You may look like Grandpa, an old grandpa who's got these.
How's that for stylish?
Don't bring it out too much. I want to look kind of cool. I want to maintain some kind of a image. You do end up looking a little bit like an old grandpa whose socks have worn out and rode down to his shoes. But the neat thing is, especially in places like Montana where you're out and things can get hot and can get cold quickly.
Very quickly.
This is a great way to kind of deal with that, and it's just a quick up or a quick down, and you've got a lot more warmth. So I love that.
I also like.
Do you want me to hold the phone and you can demo something?
I don't have them on, but I have running tights. I don't get cold nearly as fast as you do, and usually my legs don't get tired or get cold. But I have running tights, winter running tights that zip halfway up here.
Mm-hmm.
You can always unzip them and
roll them up,
and that works really well too.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same concept I'm talking about, only doing it with the tights as opposed to the socks. Additional to that, what else is, so if you're starting out and you want to stay a little warmer, you can always do the tuck, making sure that you've got your shirt in close to your body, and that's gonna, hold your warmth in a little better. As you get warmer, you can do the untuck. And then another trick that I like to use is just, if you're starting to get warm, take one sleeve out like this. Make sure you got another layer under there. But now, depending on how warm it is outside, sometimes this does the trick. It just lets me get a little bit cooler. And then you can also always do this number and give it your best Superman, Batman, and that works as well. As gloves and hats come off, everybody's a little different. But for me, I like to tuck them right there, just inside my hip bone. They ride well right there for me, and you can also tell if you've lost them or if you're about to lose them. So that works well. And then if the shirt comes all the way off, what I like to do is, I don't know if you're new to running, you may not have heard this expression before, but one of the tips that I ran across was pretend like you're holding potato chips in your hands, and basically
you don't want to crush them.
Yeah, and you don't want to crush them. So basically what that means is, as you're running, you're not clenching your fists at all. There's no need to hold tension in your wrists, no need to hold tension in your hands, no need to hold tension in your shoulders, even in your face. If you smile, get rid of that tension, and just let everything be nice and loose up there. So we want to avoid tension when we're running. So the way I like to do that, if I decide to keep my shirt with me, a lot of times I'll chuck it on the ground if it's in out and back, and then just pick it up on the way back. But if you want to keep it with you, if you just do a gentle wrap, like in between your fingers and around your hand, what ends up happening is I don't have to clench that at all. There doesn't need to be any tension in my wrist or shoulder to hold that. It just holds itself on there, and it also makes a nice way to keep the sweat out of your eyes. So
I'm trying to get a close up of how you wrap.
Well, it's the idea is just basically get it around there in a way that's not too tight, but also, like, if you tuck it like in between fingers and stuff, it just kind of helps to hold it in there naturally, and then that's a good way to go about it too. So now we're down to the cooler version with, and it's a big difference. The other thing I was going to mention is picking where you're on this morning. I was chilly, so I was out on the road running in the sun. When you run on the sidewalk, you got all the shadows of the houses, and just a little bit more sunshine makes a big difference too. So depending where you're at and how you're running, getting in the sunshine or staying in the shade is going to make a big difference as well, right, Ella? Was that all our tips, babe? I think that was all our clothing tips.
Yeah. I like to carry my gloves and my hat in my two hands. They're usually the only things that end up taking off, other than maybe a layer. I just tie my shirt around my waist, and then I carry my gloves and my hat in my hands.
Yeah, and you're a lot more stable when it comes to temperature than I am, I would say. That's because I like to go charging madly ahead, and then slowing down, and then charging madly ahead again. Me and Ella like to have races, right, Albel?
Hello.
All right. Well, I think that's some thoughts for this morning.
Time for breakfast.
We're gonna go eat
meet up with
breakfast and hang out with some friends today, and continue celebrating Shelbel's birthday.
Yay!
And we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, tomorrow we can go live with my brother Patrick after the half marathon. We'll see if it works, and talk with him a little bit. And don't forget, we're gonna do a post about gymidation, intimidation in the gym as well, and some ways that can help you work through that and get in there along with everybody else if you want to, and make some muscles.
Corgi.
And there's a little corgi. We will say so long. Peace out. And till next time. Love you guys. Have an awesome Saturday.